Hello again, people. It is Sam Spurs for Life PRTV. Welcome to another episode of Talking Points. So, as you can see, I am not on screen. That's for the usual thing that these guys are going to take the P out of me. But I don't have enough credit in my internet bank. So, I'm going to just stop talking now. Welcome to the stream, Sid Spurs and Josh from Spurs TV. Spurs Debate TV, should I say. How you doing, gents?
Yeah, listen, if everyone's can you we've set up a just GoFundMe page for Sam to get some video coverage. So if anybody wants to donate, please, all donations will be welcome because this is taking the biscuit now, man. This guy is just hiding. He's hiding. He's either
As
that
long as
or
as long as you don't spend it on food, Sid.
he's had a facelift, I think. He don't want to show his face. He's the new Michael Jackson.
When you finished, gents, when you finished, you know what I mean? I am here still. Welcome, Pipes. How you doing?
I'm all right. Who are you all talking about? Good afternoon,
about me.
everybody.
The man
about
who
me.
won't show his face.
Listen,
He's a
The man in the mirror. Man in the mirror.
He's a double
Yeah.
in
agent.
the daytime, his appearance is this. In the evening times, I now got my internet back. But just to let you know, Sky have done a deal with me yesterday where they said, "Oh, I can get this 900 megabits per second, blah blah blah, minimum 600." I said, "All right, then, come on." And you told me this before because EE they were on like, was it? I was on 150. Said it was 300, but it was more like 150. So anyway, my point being, I'm going to be better off in the next few days when I'm at home, but I'm not at home currently. So that's the
Take it
reason
off.
for.
Take it off. Take it off. Take
Listen,
it
I'm,
off.
I'm done with you now. This is what we're talking about. It's over. This is what we got in reference to the transfer window being closed. 2 games in international break. We got a little bit of a break as such until the next league game. Gentlemen, there's been a lot of talk, social media, I guess in our group chat as well. Some are saying the best window ever for Spurs. Some are saying on TalkSport the best window of all clubs this year, Spurs. I'm kind of, I ain't sure about that. Best window ever? I'm not sure about that. Best window of this transfer window of all clubs? I'm not sure about that either. Because Liverpool, look what they've done. Anyway, this is what we're going to discuss. Over to you, Sid. What's your thoughts?
Do you know what? Honestly, I ain't gonna lie. If at the beginning of the transfer window you said to me that we was gonna get robbed over Matthias Tell in the Hurricane deal, and someone was gonna cock up and we're gonna end up with him for 30 million, put that one to one side. But if somebody said to me that we was gonna end up with Kudus, Xavi Simons, Polinia, and Moani, I'd be like, shut up! What are you talking about? But I think we've done all right. I don't think we've addressed what we needed to address in terms of centre back and the left back, and also the left wing. We've got rid of one of the greatest left wingers in the Prem, in Son, and we've replaced him with Tellenshaw, and we're still not convinced with that. And then they put Johnson on that side, so we've got 3 players he's not convinced with, and we're still none the wiser because he's left him out of the Champions League squad. So I'm completely miffed. But I think what we've got, I'm quite happy with. Are we going to talk about individual transfers as well, the ones that we've got? Because I've got a say on 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, we're just going to quickly go around just to kind
Yeah.
of, based on that point,
Yeah.
what do people think of the actual transfer window as a whole? Is it the best ever? And also on top of that, is this the best? Have we done the best transfer business this summer? As I
So-
said, my versions are different. But Josh, what's your thoughts?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I on the group, lads, I was saying it's an 8. I still stick by it's an 8, man. I know we didn't get our first targets in Eze, Gibbs White, Savino. Maybe they were our first targets by the sounds of what these journals were telling us earlier in the window. But then to back it up with Moani in the loan up front, kudos, get that in quickly, early-ish. Paulinho, 6, we were crying out for. And then to replace Madders' injury with Simmons, I'll still give it an 8. I stand by that. And I'm going to add the Romero signing in there because for me, although that's not a new signing, most had him out earlier in the window. And the fact that we've retained his services for another year at least, and potentially sell him on for 70, 80 million in the future, for me, it's a good window. So I still stick by 8 at the moment.
Cool. So what did you say, Sid, in terms of the number?
Me, I said 7. I would go with 7.
Okay. So we've got a 7, we've got an 8. Pipes.
Well, you know me. I call things as I see them. Yes, Sid, you're right. If we had said at the start of the window that we'd get Simons or Xavi, as he prefers to be called,
Yeah.
Kudos, Paulinho, and Moani, the outset, yeah, great, marvelous. But fellas, let's really examine how we got these players. Kudos apart was the only deal where I say we acted efficiently. The rest, let's be honest, we've lucked out, we've stumbled into it, opportunistic. The basic issue I have with our football club is that there's no planning. There is no planning with our transfer policy. And that's borne out by the fact that Sonny, let's be honest, most of us here knew that Sonny this was his last season. So the club had 6 months to a year to identify a top left wing replacement. Haven't done it. As you said, Sid, we got what we got. Johnson, Show and Tell, Odibert, none of whom make one. So with all
So much so that Show and Tell is not even in the Champions League.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you know, it's laughable. And then you got the supply geography teacher now coming out chatting rubbish yesterday about, you know, oh, things work out. Some nonsense he was saying. The fact of the matter is there's no plan. And we have to get strategic with the way we do our business. So with all that being said, I can't give this window, despite the fact, yes, we've got 4 players that walk into the first team. I'll accept that 100%. But I still can't give this window no more than a 6.5, personally, 6.5, because, like I said, the lack of planning needs addressing. And, you know, you're not going to get lucky every window. You know, Xavi, God bless him, he wanted Chelsea all summer. And Chelsea, I think, played on that. You know, I mean, they played on the fact that the player wanted him all summer. And suddenly, I think Xavi had a change of heart because obviously Chelsea were just parking him, concluding other deals, knowing that Xavi really always wanted them. But I think Xavi got to the stage where, as I said in a couple of streams back, players have egos, don't they? So he just said, you know what? F yous, you man just got me out here, you know what I mean, in the wilderness. I won't conclude the deal. So he's come to us, you know. But yeah, we got to do our business better. So yeah, 6.5.
So including in the deals, obviously you mentioned, I'm going to skip my point of view as well. People including Kevin Danso, obviously Tell, those guys were on loan with us and now they've been made permanent. Who else was in there? Kota Takai was another one that we got in. Randall Kulamwani is the last one that we got. Yang Min Hook, again, he was bought in January time. So again, we could look at him as maybe being a new signing as well. My view on this is I don't think there was, I agree with Pipe. I don't think the planning was as great as it could have been. None of these players we got in at the beginning of the transfer window. It's not like we went out, right, that's the player, bam, 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 bam. We did try that. We tried that with the Morgan Gibbs thing quite relatively early. And Kudos was relatively early, but there was certainly not at the beginning of the transfer window when Liverpool got inverts and there was other teams that got players in. So that's, for me, shows that, right, if we made or got targets, we certainly didn't go about getting them quickly in to help with pre-season, which is always a benefit. If you get them players in as early as possible, pre-season is usually better because the players integrate and all the rest of it. So the majority of our signings all came post pre-season, or at least the start of it, particularly the ones of late deadline day being Moani, and obviously Simmons was a few days before that. So I don't think the planning was all that. It's a bit of a scattergun approach as well, because we were going for somebody else in Morgan Gibbs. Was Xavi Simmons coming to Spurs at any point? Not as far as I was aware during the summertime, and then all of a sudden he is. The Moani deal, that just seems like a right. Let's just throw a cast and net out. Who's available? Let's do that. Is there options? Is there obligations? No one seems to know. It doesn't seem like it's clear. So for that reason, how can it be the best? We may have got lucky. Don't get me wrong. We have got good players in. Kudus is a first-team player. Paulinho, definitely a first-team player. Xavi, let's see if he is going to just run straight into the first team. I hope he will do, based on his talent and based on who he's played for. And Mwani, I'm not sure. He looks like he's got the talent to do what we need him to do. Is his best place, is his best position on the left, or is it central? Some say it's centrally, some say it's on the left. I don't know. And if I don't know, then, you know what I mean, it doesn't bode me to believe that we've covered everything properly, because we did know that Son was leaving a long time ago and he was one of the world's best in his pomp. Have we got one of the world's best on the left now? We certainly haven't. So you could look at it, we've lost a world-class player. Have we replaced the world-class player on the left? I don't believe so. Can these other players be world-class in terms of Kudus, in terms of Xavi, in terms of Mwani? Obviously, they can do, but currently, none of them are, in my opinion. So for that reason, I'm going on a 7 as well. 7 out of 10.
Guys, don't forget, we've missed the most important summer signing. Well, we've not discussed it, and not one of us has mentioned it. Thomas Frank.
Yeah, I would say that, but
I would suggest he's made a good start though, but that remains to be seen, because I'll be honest with you, and I will always maintain he wasn't my first choice.
No, he wasn't.
And I look across the road, so to speak, in South London, and he impresses me more and more and more. And I just hope we haven't dropped a ricket overlooking Glasner.
I don't think so.
I'm
happy with Frank.
No, there was 2 managers that I would have put ahead of Thomas Frank purely because of European experience, and that was, what's his name at Aston Villa, Unai Emery, and Glasner. Those 2 I put ahead of Frank based on European experience. After that, if I took the European experience out, Thomas Frank would have been my first choice based on the person that he is.
Iriola, guys. Iriola,
Yeah,
I wasn't sold on him. I wasn't sold on him.
I wasn't sold on Iriola, to be fair. I wasn't even sold on Frank. However, if you look at what Frank's done, and already you can see the difference from last season to this season with the way he does things, and we've got to give him time.
Oh yeah.
I would say with Iriola, yes, looks like he's probably punching above his weight, but I want to see him 2, 3, 4 years in at Bournemouth, if that's where he stays, when he keeps losing players on a regular basis, and see if he can still get back to be where they are now, playing the same football, being able to get into the top half of the league. I don't know. He's been there, 2 years now at Bournemouth? Is his second season?
Second season, yeah.
Potentially. So yeah, he's done well, don't get me wrong. Glasner, on the other hand, has come in and won stuff in his time that he's been there, and significant things as well. You know, FA Cup's a significant trophy to win, and to play Manchester City in the is it Manchester City played in the
Charity Shield, Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Liverpool. God,
City in the cup.
Win nothing. Yeah, City in the cup, wasn't it? To beat both those 2 teams, regardless of how he won, shows a level of, what's the word? Experience and expertise.
They're a top side now, Palace. They're a top side now, and the thing is, he's losing players, and yet the levels are not dropping off. And I thought his handling of the Mark Gay situation was absolute boss moves. He's literally to his chairman.
Is it though, Pipes? Is it a boss move? Because now you're gonna lose a player for peanuts.
Listen, 35 million pounds.
It's a footballing decision.
Exactly. You can't pay 35 million quid on the pitch.
No, but they could use that 35 million pounds to go and get another centre back and make him as good as Guy. Now they're going to end up with nothing.
I was left in the window, though, Sid.
Yeah, but he can negotiate now from January, can't he, for free?
There is nothing to say.
Yeah, but Sid, the guy whoever comes in ain't going to be as good as him, is he?
No chance.
Yeah, but Guy wasn't as good.
Just one other thing on the thing. There's nothing to say that Oliver Glasner cannot speak to the player and get him to sign. That's still an option. That's still an option. Maybe a slim option.
Unlikely.
That's still an option. Now,
unlikely.
We've seen that. Players can get to and then turn around, right, you know, the boss has said this. And if they can prove and show, if he can show these players, right, the level isn't going to drop. We've lost Eze, we've lost this player, Lise, we've lost X, Y, and Z. But we can still maintain this level and we can still be competitive. There's no reason why Mark Gay could turn around and say, well, you know what? South London. If he's made his mind up to go to Liverpool, that's done. He's going on a free. But if he's still umming and ahhing, there's still a possibility based on Oliver Glasner's experience and what he's actually brought to Crystal Palace.
But lads, think about this, right? In Jan, the top 6 or top 4, top 5 will be in a Champions League stage qualification or not. Some of them will have injuries. Some of them will need reinforcement, and they'll have a bit of money and spare cash to spend. So it could be that Palace put him out to auction in January, and he has City, who, let's be honest, their defense is questionable. Man United's defense is questionable. Liverpool's defense, we've talked about, is questionable. We could be in there in the race, keeping him in London. Arsenal could have a major injury. I'm just saying it could work out that in January, everyone wants a decent defender for 35 million.
100%.
And he's still a bargain at that price. And if
And
he comes in and does a job, and he doesn't play Champions League for Palace, doesn't even play Europa League. So that makes him more sellable for me in Jan as well. It could be that they've actually played a checkmate here on Liverpool and said, listen, we'll see how we go in Jan. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's the worst decision, in my opinion.
No, I agree. If they're losing for free, it's still not the worst decision if they do well this season. And then when I say, well, if they qualify for Europe, if they win something else, that's not a bad season for Crystal Palace. However, if they, with Gay, they don't achieve anything and it's worse than last season, and then he does go on a free, questions will be asked.
Can we move on? I don't want to talk about Palace and Guy.
Yeah,
mate.
become Crystal Palace TV.
I know. Can we move on, please?
Right, let me just do one.
But just
thing
one
then.
thing, Ericsson wanted to leave, and we sold him in Jan for I think 20 mil to Inter, and then he went on to win their Premier League there. So I can't remember that first 3 months with Ericsson, whether he down tools or not. I can't remember. You lot probably remember more. But we managed to get 20 mil. So it can happen. It doesn't have to be sell now.
Mm-hmm. The other side of this transfer window is players going out. Now, we've still got Yves Bissouma. We've still got, as I say, Richarlison, although he started the season well. We were questioning whether that was being a good signing or continuing with being a good signing. Dominic Solanke's still there. Again, I've got my question marks about him. What other players? I'm just going down this list here. Dane Scarlett, we still got. The ones that have gone out on loan, I'll just mention these. Luka Vuskovic, Yang has gone out. Manos Solomon's gone out, and these are loan players. Ashley Phillips has gone out on loan. Villiers has gone out on loan. Alfie Devine has gone out on loan. So all these players, Manos Solomon should be definitely surplus to requirements. Ashley Phillips should be definitely surplus to requirements because he keeps on going out on loan. And Villiers, what's happening with him? Is this Argentinian youngster? He keeps going out on loan. Again, surplus to requirements. Alfie Devine, a youngster, but still he keeps getting out on loan. The loan thing, we don't use it like Chelsea do it. They've then used the loan thing and then been able to sell these players and make the most money of any team in a transfer window. We, on the other hand, just keep loaning out, and eventually get some peanuts, which we did for Gil. Got peanuts from in the end. And other players of the like. Do you think our business on both sides of the coin is as good to make this a 7, 8 in terms of the best transfer window for some people? I don't think it does.
Definitely not, mate. Because, like you said, the 4 signings we're happy with, but deep down, they probably weren't our number 1 targets. And like you guys have said, it's probably, oh shit, what's going on? Oh, okay, yeah. Let's panic and let's go and get this one. Moani, we'll talk about that later. But in terms of the selling side, we're rubbish at selling. We cannot get rid of players. We cannot. It just seems like once we sign players, no matter what, they got a magnet on them and they just keep getting what's the word I'm looking for? They keep getting pulled into the lodge and to say you're not leaving. And once they're locked into the lodge, you can't dismount that magnet. It's that solid and powerful. You can't dislodge it. And then they keep coming back. So no matter where they go, like, get rid of them now. If you can't get rid of them and they keep coming, how many loans are you going to have to keep doing before a player, you decide you don't want him? I mean, I know that Divine, from what I've heard, obviously Preston lad, myself, a lot of Preston fans have said that he's class. So I reckon he'll end up at Preston North End at the end of the season. Ashley Phillips, man, you letting him go, bring him, let him go. Scarlett as well, let him go. Gil, in the end, he had to buy his contract out. I've heard we've sold him. I don't know. Bissouma is happening. It's not happening. 12th of September is when the other markets shut. So there's still time. So I don't understand it. We're crap at buying and we take our time. But when it comes to selling, it is unbelievable. Why can we not sell players?
The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. I think also, not as well as the magnet as you described it, Sid, our players just their value just sinks like a stone once they come to Tottenham. I don't know what it is. Is it the perception of the club? Is it Levy's fractured relationship with other chairmen? But we can't get 10 bob for our players. Just, I mean, like I said, the Ashley Phillips of this world, the Velises of this world, we sign these youngsters and all our fan base, we're signing for the future. They sell us this brochure of the future. The future never arrives. They get loaned out 10 times and then they disappear into Neverland and sold for 10 pence. You see, I don't understand. There's no route of progression towards the first team. Now, we've got Vuskovic now. Everyone's raving about this kid.
Yeah.
We signed him 2 years ago. He's already been effectively on loans already. What did we do? We loaned him out again. And now we're talking about, you know what I mean, in terms of we may be light at centre-back. But this kid is supposed to be a top youngster. So you put him around the first team. Yeah. Show there's a route into the first team. Yeah? You're selling me and us as fans this brochure about youngsters and the future, and the future never arrives. It never comes. So I don't know what we're about buying.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the mob up the road in Kings Road, Chelsea, and they're getting 300 million for their players.
It's madness, isn't it?
We've got Ulrika Johnson in here. She's got something to say. Ulrika, welcome. Jeff Stelling rated our window #1 of all PR clubs. Spurs fans never happy. As a statement, just because Jeff Stelling said it was the best doesn't mean to say it is the best. I could say, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things I could say.
Let's be honest though. Jeff Stelling, we know how TalkSport works. They say things for engagement, for phone calls. I don't think he meant what he said. He just said to encourage phone calls in. We did the best window. It's nonsense to say we did.
On paper, if you look at it, Kudus on paper is a baller, and you go off what he's done, baller. Polina is a baller if you can get him back to the form he was at Fulham, right? So he's basing it on that. Xavi Simons, these people probably see him week in, week out, and the reputation speaks for itself. And in terms of Moani, they're probably looking at where he's been, what he's done as well, and they're looking at that. So they're probably looking on that basis. They're looking at the fact that these guys have got the experience, they've done international. So in their terms, compared to other team signings, they're probably thinking like Jeff Stelling's thinking, you know what? These are proper players that can walk into the Spurs team to strengthen them and make them better.
You've just said it. Sorry. Our bar is so low in terms of our transfer dealings. This is the first window we can remember where, guess what? We've signed 3 or 4 players that go into our first 11.
Yeah. Can I also just add?
Optically, because our dealings of you.
You've gone on. Oh, he's done. He's still there.
That never arrives.
Let me also add to that. Kudus didn't have his best season last season. So that was one of the factors why West Ham decided they may let him go. Because if he had a worldie last season, he wouldn't be coming to Spurs. Paulinho, again, didn't have the best season at Bayern, had a better season at Fulham the season before. Now, again, both these players had played in the Prem, so the risk was lessened, but they didn't have their best seasons. It wasn't like Eze, who had a fantastic season last season, won what he did with Crystal Palace and was the talk of the town. We got players who weren't the talk of the town anymore. Couple that with the fact that we've got Xavi Simons, great talent, never played in the Prem before, ain't seen him play yet. I don't know what he's going to be like. And this Moani, just on deadline day, just because he's come from PSG and just because everybody's like, oh, he's in the front, he's a French international. Well, why is PSG saying, oh, you can get out of here even on loan? To me, that suggests that these players aren't necessarily the first choice, because if you look what Liverpool did, and I'll just mention it again, they've gone out. Yes, the Isak thing rumbled all summer, but we all knew he was going. I certainly knew he was going there, because once a player does that publicly, and then the club comes out publicly and tries to, go against it, there's only one way it's going to go. Now, they got the money for him. Liverpool were chasing him all summer, but they got Wirtz in early. They got Frimpong in early. They got what's his name in the left back. all got them deals done quick time. Those are the players that they'd sourced, and those are the players that they went and got. Even Arsenal, to a degree, I think I had a better transfer window than us because of those same reasons. We can all do this all day, and we can go up and down with this, but I'm not sure what this transfer window is from a TalkSport perspective. They just love the fact that they were getting clicks everywhere. Frank, best signing. Romero, second best signing. We're not getting Gay. I would like us another crack at Tap Soda. I don't know.
Supper. Yeah.
I don't know. Gay man, they're going to Real Madrid. See what thing he has now done, and that's just the last thing on that. He's opened up the market, as you mentioned, Josh. I think that could potentially happen sometime in now. If Real Madrid come talking and say to Gay, "Oh, just hold your horses, mate. Come in the summertime for free." That's what he's going to do, in my opinion. Konate going to Madrid. Madrid love a free transfer because they can get players to do all that. Simmons was not a number one target because we thought he was too good for us. The fact we got him, and therefore someone better than Eze or MGW, is amazing. Can look at it both ways. Did we, what have we done to get him? What have we done to get him?
I agree with that, by the way, though. I agree with that. I mean, Don P said it a couple of streams ago. We've fallen upwards. I mean, for me, Simmons is a better player than both MGW and Eze, but we've lucked out. That's my issue.
Mickey Van der Ven.
We've lucked out. Exactly. Van der Ven probably helped as well.
Van der Ven Van der Ven and Odebert, apparently, because they played together in France. So it was a combination, I reckon. And I think the fact that he's probably looking at what Chelsea were doing, who they were getting, and he's probably thinking, do you know what? Do I really want to go there and be a big player when I can walk into Spurs and become the main man? And if Van der Ven and them lot have said that you can become a legend
to help us sign him, Sid. And it's not going to happen like that in every window. You have to have a strategy. You have to have a plan of action. We can't stumble about the way we do at the moment. It's not efficient.
Yeah. I still think the fact that it's World Cup year has a definite effect on whether players go to certain clubs. And I think we've lucked out because of the fact that it is World Cup year.
Big.
I personally believe some of these players, and you could even look at the deadline day signing of Mouani and saying that if he really wants to play for France, he's in the squad. He's going to have to perform because France can rotate players. They got a lot of players that they can rotate in and out of that. Simmons could be the same. He might be nailed on for, is it Belgium he plays for?
No, Holland.
Sorry, he's Dutch, isn't he?
Netherlands.
Again, he might be first choice in there, but he might not be. He's a young player, so they've got a lot of talent as well. So all these players are playing for the World Cup place. Every single one of them are playing for a World Cup place, and that makes a difference to what team you're going to join and whether you're going to join them in a World Cup year or not. Now, had it been last season, I'm not quite so sure we'd have got all these players personally, particularly with the manager that we got. The manager has played some aspect to it. How much, I don't know, but 7. I'm still going to 7. Just on the squad. This is the interesting bit. This is the squad that's been named for our 25-26 UEFA League Champions League campaign. Vicari in goal, Danso, Paulinia, Simmons, Richarlison, Udogi, Gray, Bergville, Romero, Solanke, Kudus, Johnson, Porro, Spence, Odebert, Sarr, Bentancur, Kinski, Davis, Van der Ven, Mouani, and Brandon Austin. Obviously, there's got to be some jiggery pokery to get the homegrown players in there. So that's a bottom line squad. Thoughts on that, gentlemen? I can put it on screen if you want.
Sorry, go, Sid.
No, I was going to say, I think it's the best of what you could do. I have been following a lot of the stuff on socials and whatever in terms of what can happen, what players are going to miss out, all the homegrown talents. Then you've got the B levels, and then that level, and then the UEFA rules, and they can't do this, you can't do that. And I was just looking at that, and I'm like, this is madness. So for me, the players he left out, it's a no-brainer. Maddison's out for the season. Dragusin is coming back, but he's nowhere going to be anywhere near ready. Kulu, I still think is going to be January before he comes back. And I think the only one that I sort of thought interesting was the Tell one, because why would you sign him for 30 million in the summer? Because I reckon it's a forced sale, a buy. He had no options because we messed up and it was an obligation rather than maybe not. Then you've paid 30 million for him, and then you're saying you're not good enough to be in my Champions League squad. Doesn't make sense to me. So that one, I was a little bit miffed about. However, I can understand it. But then if it's a toss between him and Odobert, I want to know why he's gone for Odobert over Tell.
I think probably Odobert, and I don't rate either player, so let me just preface that. I just think Odobert probably shows intention of beating his man, whereas Tell just offers absolutely nothing. So, you know, it's like the best of a bad bunch, really. But I've said consistently, neither of them make one. In Tell's situation as well, it is, and I've had confirmation, we did not have to sign Tell. Yeah? The way the deal was structured, we were not required to make the deal permanent. So who took that decision? He comes to us, and I'm sure you mentioned that before, Sam, that he never really wanted us in the first place. He wanted United. So he comes to us, maybe under duress. He has his loan spell. He shows us nothing. But hey ho, we signed him anyway. Make it make sense. Then you fast forward 2 months. Champions League squad is named. He's not in it. So who makes these decisions? You know, it is that, and along with the Moani deal, which I'm sure we'll discuss later. They are just two baffling deals to me for different reasons, which I'll go into later. But
just regarding that the squad, there was the implication of obviously having a certain amount of homegrown players in there, which is one of the reasons why. However, I agree with you. The Tell, you could have put Tell in there over someone like, I don't know. I'm looking at the list here. Tell can't go of anybody because he's rubbish.
Maybe one of the keepers.
Yeah, one of the keepers. You could argue Ben Davies is that key to having him, but then again, he's a homegrown player, so that's why he's in there. Moani's gone straight in there. He's obviously saying that he's a better player. In my opinion, whoever's in that squad over Tell, basically saying you're a better player because you could have replaced, like I said, Odobert could have been out. You could have even looked at maybe Solanke. He's injured. I don't know what his injury is saying. How much is he going to play before January? I don't know. So these decisions, based on players that are not even playing at the moment, is it just because we had to get a certain amount of homegrown players in there? Is he a victim of that, or is he a victim of just not being good enough and we just panic buyed in the summer thinking, we can get it for cheap and he's going to improve up? No, I think again that was a panic situation, very akin to the Timo Werner thing. We just thought we could get this player on the cheap. He's got this potential. The Spurs fans will love it. Some Spurs fans are loving the fact that we've signed Matthias Tell. I think it was a terrible decision, in my opinion. Okay. Terrible decision. Any more thoughts on what this? Because I like this quote here. This is therefore not a unique window. I would argue, however, Simmons, Kudus, Polina, Moani, Tell, Dancer are higher quality than Madders, Udogi, etc. that we signed in Angie's first window. Discuss.
Lads, let me make a point on the window as well, please. So last season, our main two signings were Solanke and Archie Gray, about 100 million total estimate for both of those. This season, we spent obviously a net of 180 million and 200 million plus on those 4 starters we've just mentioned there. If you add up all the fees, everything, the whole window. So I think it's an improvement on last year. I don't think anyone can argue it's not an improvement on last year. I don't think this window was ever going to fix everything. I don't think any club fixes anything in one window with the new PSR, with the new FFP, with the new squad ratio rules, all that legislation, which is a minefield to many fans, including myself, is still a minefield. I think everyone needs someone to come out and explain what it really means. But from what I understand of it, it's all about revenue now. Revenue. That you can't just be an owner and throw 100 million in. Those days are gone because source of funds, it's not revenue, then it's not coming in. So when I take everything into perspective, I see that Liverpool fans will tell you they're not 100% happy. City fans will tell you the same. Haaland gets injured. What do we do? They could have got Moani in. I'm just saying, you look at sort of Man United's defense is shaky. You look at Newcastle, who scrambled at the end to get over the line, a bit like what we did. And then you look at like Villa fans will tell you what's going on. Chelsea are plus net. They spent less money. They made money in the window. They're like plus 4 million. We're like minus 108 million. So what Ulrika's saying here, I agree with a lot of what she said. Because when you compare it to last season, we bought one good player in Solanke and then it was all hopefuls. Tell's a hopeful. Odobert was a hopeful last season. Obviously, Archie Gray's a massive hopeful. This season, we've got 4 new players. We signed a 6, we signed a striker. So I'm happy as a Spurs fan, but maybe I'm deluded in the overall picture. But when I look at my counterpart fans that I speak to all the time, and they're like complaining about their players, and Arsenal fans are saying, yeah, Lokonga and Nuno Tavares and all these players are on loan. I'm thinking, hold up, you got problems too. I've got problems too. Liverpool got problems too. So when I look at the whole world of Premier League football top six, I think we've had a good window, in my opinion. And yes, we could have done more. We could have done more. That would have made it a 9, and that
Josh,
then you're talking 10. But I think
Josh,
8's fair. But you know, maybe I'm being kind.
About that, everything you said, is valid, and
Romero.
The comment beneath is all valid. It's not about the merits of the players and their abilities are not in question. It's the methods we use to get there. The planning and strategy, surely you concede, has to be better. Yeah?
But then, the Morgan Gibbs White wanted to come. Chairman locked it down. Eze played us, which most agreed. Savinho, the chairman at Man City, stepped in. Someone stepped in, probably the main Saudi guy over here, and said, "No, you're not." The director said, "You're not." So maybe the intention was good to sign 4 first teamers. That didn't work out. But then we didn't stop. We went and got 4 good players.
I'm going to take out face value with everything you just said. The fact of the matter is that you have to concede, Josh, is that, right, MGW, whatever's happened there, we sat down and just concentrated on MGW for 2 weeks.
We were slow to react. Yeah, I agree.
Right? Eze, the same thing. We sat down, concentrated on Eze for 2 weeks.
So would you say that the intention was right, but the reaction after we didn't get the players was poor? Or would you say the intention was wrong too?
The intention was correct, but there was no planning behind the intention. You see, my problem is that surely we can do 2-3 deals at the same time. You see what I'm saying to you? This sitting down and waiting on one player, to me, is amateurish. I hear that. And I believe maybe this is where PRTVSPURS comes back into the fold now, and hopefully we'll see a more constructive, cohesive way of doing our business.
Do you know what, Pipes? I'll tell you where it went wrong for, like, you give it a 6.5. Other people are giving it 6 or 7. Some are like 8, like me, obviously. When Levy sat down with Vinay and said, our plan is to win the Premier League and the Champions, that was very, very, very schoolboy. That put everyone's expectation. I didn't believe it. And I'm sure you guys didn't. I didn't sit there and believe it. I just let it carry on. And it was, for me, it was just PR for your younger fans, for the football world, for foreign fans, whoever wants to hear that crap. For me, as a Spurs fan that's been supporting the club a long time, I listened to that and I said, you know what, that's just stupid headline talk. I know we ain't winning no Premier League or Champions. You know that, Levy. We all know that. But if you want to say that and create a hole for yourself, you crack on, son. Because that, for me, was a schoolboy error. Now, you know what? If anyone who believed that 3 months ago went into the window thinking we're now going to match those comments, I would call that delusional, potentially, in a nice way, not in a bad way, because the intention's good, but come on, we ain't winning no Premier League or Champions League. So I think Levy shot himself in the foot. What he should have just said is, we hope to stay in the Champions League. We'll try our best to win a trophy and progress as a club. The usual spiel that we hear from him every season. And then he would have signed these 4 players that we got in the end, and everyone would have gone, you know what? Expectations are managed. So I think that's where the window went wrong slightly for expectation in a lot of minds. So that's why I think he dropped the ball. But I would also say that if we beat Bournemouth 3-0, let's just say we beat them 3-0, and we all know Thomas Frank, as per our WhatsApp group, probably could have done better on his tactics. I do believe the players before international break are downing tools. The 7th time we've lost before an international break. That's not down to Frank or Ange. That's a problem within the club. We need to fix that. Why is it they feel they can wrap themselves in cotton wool before they go to their home countries? That's not right. So for me, if we beat Bournemouth 3-0, does this window look better again? I think there's more variables to it than it's a poor window or an average window. Because, like I said to you, every club has loan players out there trying to get them out. They're trying to get a price, whether it's 8 mil for Brian Hill, whether it's Tavares for Arsenal, Fabio Vieira, who was supposed to be the Odegaard replacement. There's a lot of that going on in football. Do you know what I mean? When you look across the spectrum.
It's not a poor window, Josh. It's not a poor window. Or average window. I personally think it is a good window because the players that have come in add strength, add quality to what we've already got. The only downside to it is we've not gone and done our due diligence and got the players that we needed. Like, he said he needs a left-sided centre back, never got him. He said I need a backup left back, never went and got him. Everybody in the kitchen sink knew we needed a left winger.
What's the point in buying Danso and Radu, who are in there? Radu, top player for Romania. Danso looks good from. We've all complimented him, rightly so. What's the point in having them if we ain't going to give them a chance? Like, then aren't we just bringing in players for the sake of just like what I'm saying is, at what point does Frank go, I can develop Radu, I can develop Dancer, I can develop. Obviously, Kotai is just a project. Don't get me wrong. I'm not even going to talk about it because he's just a project. But Danso and Radu, at some point, we have to ask the question: at what point do we give them a second season, or even a first proper season in Danso's case, because he was a January signing? What point do we see what they can do?
All right.
But then you don't say I want this position covered. I need this side of the player.
Who said that? Did Frank say that? I probably missed
Frank,
that. Did he say it?
I'm sure. I know Ulrika's saying he never said that, but I'm sure he said he wanted a left-sided centre back. I'm sure he did. Yeah, but irrelevant anyway. But what I'm saying is, the players that we've got in 100% improve. But if we don't, we're all guessing now where Moani is going to play. We're all guessing where Xavi Simons is going to play. Right? It's guesswork. Only Thomas Frank knows where they're going to play. All I'm saying to you is that left side has not been resolved, and everybody knew Son was going to leave.
Fine.
So you have to go and replace that first and foremost, because you need that sided player. We know what's been going on this season. None of them that have been playing there have hit any heights. Now, Xavi Simons, people are saying he can play on the left. Moani can play on the left. He can play as a 9. He can play as a 10. That's fine. That's guessing game. Thomas Frank will know who's going to play where. But as far as I'm concerned,
but then Sid, think about this, yeah. If we had got Eze over the line and Havertz didn't get injured, and I believe if Havertz, no, but he can play off the left and deliver.
He can.
So and Sonny, let's be honest, who gets a Sonny these days? I mean, that was luck. So was Kane was luck. I mean, no one guessed Kane and Son's career. Nobody. When we bought Son, I remember thinking it's a project.
But the issue is, sorry to interrupt, is that the club knew, and we all did, that this was possibly going to be Son's last season. So the point is, they had time to identify a top class left winger. I don't know, maybe a Nico Williams or somebody of that ilk.
But wasn't that Eze? Wasn't that Eze in the end that didn't get over the line?
No, it wasn't. It was Semenyo. It was Semenyo.
Semenyo would have been great.
It was Semenyo last season, and we sort of put a bid in, and then we didn't follow through. If you wanted a left-sided player that badly, you should have thrown the kitchen sink and everything at Semenyo. If it meant 80 million, then so be it. Give him that 80 million, because look what he did to us again at the weekend. Everybody knows he's a baller. So you go out
and said, what if Semenyo wants to play the market next summer? Like, obviously, it takes two parties to do a deal. So maybe that one's a hard one to get done. I actually think Semenyo will end up at a top club the way he's going. So, I think in our pecking order of football, I keep reminding myself where Spurs are. Obviously, we had this group chat that we're 6th overall in league possession, and 5th or 6th is where we are overall in the history of football. But if I take the history of the last 10 years, I'd still say we're knocking between 4th and 6th in terms of the pecking order of football. So why would players look at us and go, I'll go Spurs, when I've still got 4 clubs above that potentially could come in for me? Like, I would do that as a player. I'd say, why would I go Spurs?
I don't think, Josh, with respect, that should determine though how we move in a transfer window. We should still move with the mindset that we can get the player. Of course, if it transpires that.
But I actually think with for example, Eze, we were punching. I'm surprised we went for him, because in the pecking order of football, he had 4 clubs above us that, let's be honest, you could probably get into most of those first 11s. So when we were talking about Eze, I was excited as hell, because I was like, how are we getting Eze? I'm still shocked we got Simmons, lads. But that's because I in my head, Tottenham are 4th or 5th in this pecking order. So for us to go get a Simmons from Chelsea and Eze from potentially Arsenal or even City, there was talks with Eze, to get a Morgan Gibbs-White, I was scratching myself thinking, this can't be happening. This is Tottenham Hotspur. That's why I'm fairly happy with what we ended up with, because I thought we were shooting high already, unrealistically, in my opinion. But maybe we were shooting.
I'm just listening. Like I said, it's been interesting to listen to that, because as I said, there's factors to. Okay, put it this way: Manchester United didn't have any European football this season, and they attracted the players that they did. If that was the reverse, none of those players that we've talked about would be at Spurs, and that's a fact. I can't say it's a fact because it hasn't happened, but in my opinion, that's more than likely what would have been the case. We wouldn't have attracted these players, because Champions League was a definite selling point for someone like Simmons. Definitely had to be for someone like Kudus. Paulinho as well, you could probably say that. It would have been hard to attract these same level of players. There's no way we would have been entertaining Eze. There's no way we would have been entertained. So I think, they maybe had already done the tail deal before we'd even played the final of what's it called? The Europa League. I think that was a done deal. Similar in terms of some deals that get done, right? We just got to make sure and then we'll announce it here. That had to be, because if you'd have got through, we have an abundance of wingers. Why would you be rushing to get him at the beginning of the window like what we did? We literally signed him almost pretty much as the window was open.
It was the first announcement, wasn't it? It's just weird. Just weird.
It was so strange for a player that didn't really pull up trees.
Number 16 vibes.
To me, that it was a cheap deal. We got him on the cheap. There's a potential for Tell to be really good. There is a potential for him to go on and be a worldie, but I don't see it at this moment in time. And for us to take that risk and make, he's signed, and everybody go, one of our main signings, and then we sign in people like Kudus and Simmons and Paulinho, that doesn't equate because he's not at that level. He was an opportunistic signing, as we've done, and we've seen that opportunistic signings seem to be what Spurs go for, because we've ended up, as people said, smelling of roses because we've got Simmons, but we were never in terms of getting this player. That was not our intention. So that's
not even our level. Is it our level to get these players, you guys think, or do you think we've just taken the leftovers?
No. Champions League is a big factor, and also World Cup year and wages as well. We've obviously paid Simmons 200 grand a week, supposedly. That's definitely going to make someone concentrate their mind a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't think it's as binary as our level or leftovers, as you said, Josh. I think factors come into the play, and as I said, in terms of Xavi, certain ducks fell in the road that enabled us to sign him. Now that's not going to happen every window. Moani, similarly, a couple ducks fell in the road, but at the same time, and I'm sure we're going to probably discuss it. We may discuss it now. I don't understand the deal. I don't know why we signed, because he is a good player. He's a bit hot and cold, but he is a good quality, top quality player. And to take a player like him with no obligation or no option is absolute madness to me, because we're literally, if he comes, he smashes it, we're putting him in the shop window for someone else to buy. So that deal,
but then Pipes, we get a season out of him that's good. So
exactly,
you can flip it both ways. Like, don't get me wrong, I agree with you. If we got the obligation, if we got the obligation, it would have been a sweeter deal. I still take him with 48 hours to go, man.
Well, we have to because we have no choice. We have no choice. I'm with you on that, but at the same time, the deal makes no sense. And and yes, we may not be Liverpool or Man City, but we're still Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. We should be taking players on just straight loans. Here you are. Chill out with us for a season, and then someone else take it.
Issue with Moani for me, and we've had this discussion in my household, because obviously there's 3 of us or 4 of us Spurs fans. Man rejected us twice last season. Man did not want to come to Spurs. We put in bids for us. He kept rejecting us. Why all of a sudden now has he decided to come to us? Yeah, for a player, in my opinion, if someone rejects you once, okay. If they reject you twice, then he's off my radar. He's done.
But then, Sid, would you not have rejected Tottenham for Juve? We weren't in the Champions League.
Yeah,
this is Juventus.
But then
he rejected us for a better-looking woman, if you know what I mean. Like, you shouldn't. That's not embarrassment on us. That's like fair play, man. I mean, you were Juventus.
But Juventus apparently offered double what Spurs offered.
I heard that.
And Juventus are pissed because they don't understand how they offered double what Spurs have, and he's come to Spurs.
I was hearing that Juventus couldn't get the deal over the line with PSG.
No, they offered. Apparently, they offered double. They offered double Spurs loan what Spurs have offered.
Was it as well, though, or was it obligation?
What my point is if he's rejected us twice, why are we going back for him? That's my own. I've got no concern about the player. I think if he plays well, it's probably a plus for us. But
it's simply said, it's needs must, and this is this goes back to the original point of planning and strategy. When you stumble like we do, we get left with these scenarios at the end of the window where the pool is smaller. We suddenly have to take a player. He's a good player, but we have to take him by any means necessary. So you're signing him on a straight loan.
But the
Without
Guys,
player himself,
what about what Lange said yesterday on YouTube a couple of days back? He goes, and I know a lot of this stuff they just say it for the cameras, but let's just say take a pinch of salt with what he said. Might have had some honesty in it. He goes, when Frank came in, I know it's a long video, it's 20 minutes, but I managed to watch it. It's a bit boring one, but anyways, he says Thomas Frank come in. We had to sit down and give Thomas time
rubbish.
to see what the squad looks like, what he wants, what he doesn't want. We wanted to give him that time. So maybe if this was Frank's second season, you're expecting the bang, bang, bang Liverpool style Frank transfer window. First month, get your 3 signings in. The fact that he come in, maybe there was a bit of benefit of doubt to say, you know what, let's give Thomas Frank 2 to 3 weeks on tour and
But
see
Josh,
who he wants and who he doesn't want.
but Josh,
Maybe Sonny wasn't leaving. Maybe Romero's saying again, Frank, I'm going Spain.
but
And Frank goes,
Josh,
work with me, boss. I will get you winning again. Maybe
come on,
that
man.
2, 3
But Josh,
weeks delays things. I don't know. I'm asking a question.
But Josh, come on. We always do our business like this. We always leave it
We
love
have
to
in the
wait
past. Yeah,
to
it's
the
no
end of the
different.
window. Go around this trolley, supermarket sweep, checking the yellow stickers, see what you can pick up. Come on, man. That's
Yeah.
how we move.
Bargain
There's
basement.
nothing wrong with yellow stickers, mate. There's nothing
Supermarket
wrong with
sweep.
yellow stickers.
Yeah, not
I'm
let's
everyone
always
with
go
a
back
looking for
to
little
yellow
expiry
stickers.
deal,
Tesco
mate.
Club card. So
let,
I'm
Nah,
saying,
M&S are the best yellow stickers,
Yeah,
mate.
mate.
what
M&S
is
are
Oh,
the
what
yellow
is
M&S.
stickers.
We ain't
let me
M&S, Sid. We
let me
might have
just
been
pick
this
up.
window.
Let me pick up on what Sid said about Moani and being
Yeah.
rejecting us twice previously. I don't know when these rejections were, but they were obviously before this season. Let's forget what's
Yes.
happened at this point. Again, Josh has got a point. We weren't the most attractive team, and we've never been the most attractive teams in terms of paying wages, etc., etc. I keep saying the reasons why a lot of these players made the move to Spurs now is we're playing Champions League. This is a shop window.
Yeah.
The Moani thing doesn't make sense from a business perspective if it is a straight loan, because we are putting him in the shop window just to go back to his parent club to be sold to somebody else if he does well. If he doesn't do so well, that's on the player because he's playing for World Cup. He's also got an opportunity to play in the Champions League because he's been named in the squad. Both of those things is going to elevate the player personally. It's not going to elevate us as a club. We might benefit if he does really well and scores 10, 15 goals and makes us get into the round of 16s, round of 8, whatever it would be. But ultimately, this is for the player. Now, regardless of what his wages are, that seems to be being paid by Spurs. So I don't know what he's on at PSG. Spurs must have had to match or whatever it is because the player wouldn't drop his wages to come to play for Spurs. It just wouldn't make sense, in my opinion, if he's got opportunities to go to someone like Juve who's paying more. So we have to take that as being the real factor in this deal. The other ones, Simmons, again, I'm looking at it thinking, wow, I don't know much about the player because I haven't seen him, but I've heard a lot about it and I've managed to watch on Brazil Scout, the talent levels, and guess what he's done for the Netherlands, great, blah, blah, blah. Maybe there was some factor in terms of, Mickey van der Ven saying, listen, it's great here, the beds are great, fantastic, the lodge, oh, you love it here, oh, fantastic, beers go upwards, they don't go down, fabulous. All that might have been a selling factor. But ultimately, if we weren't offering the player 200 grand a week, blah, 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 he ain't coming to Spurs no matter what his mate says. So look at it from a perspective of...
You know the Simmons one, Sam. We this is the problem. When I take off my Tottenham hat and I look at Spurs from the outside, I look us as a club that go when you're 21, 22, sign a 6-year, which is what Simmons done, or sign a 5-year, kudos, whoever it is, get to 25, use this club for playing time, use this club to expose yourself, play in a great stadium, play in London, and then at 26, get your peak move. 27, get your... That's what we are to players, in my opinion. We are not the club you go to at 26. We get the odd one, we got Solanke, but generally that's who we are. For me as a player looking at Spurs is go as we're a stepping stone club. That's what we are.
100%. And this player's been signed up on what, a 6-year contract?
But then, Sam, if we know we're that, why are we complaining? That's what we are. If you're a pair, you're a pair. You're not a mango. Do you know what I mean?
And that's my point. So that's what I was saying about him, people like Moani rejecting us before. It doesn't bother me about that, provided the reason for him coming to Spurs now is to play at his best. He must be obviously wanting to play at his best because of the factors I mentioned, Champions League and the World Cup. What we're paying him, it might be the wages on PSG. Going back to the Simmons thing, if he's signed up for a 6-year deal on 200 grand a week, we all know that's him guaranteed that money. Because if he decides, or the club decides they want to sell him on, he's going to be going for more. He doesn't have to go. Or if he decides he wants to go, player power suggests that, we want to get rid of this player. Well, lads, you're going to have to get me to a club where I'm going to be getting 250 grand a week, or I need to be going to Real Madrid. Or just get rid of me, cancel my contract, pay me up. This is about money in terms of optics. I'm very, very cynical about my view on how things are done now because of things I've seen. We don't do business like these other clubs. We don't spend these money on wages. All of a sudden, we're getting these players now. Let's dig it. Let's uncover a little bit more. Let's see what's actually going on here. And as I said, all these other factors have made me think, blah, blah, blah. This is the reason. And just going back to the point where Ulrika's made 5 first teamers. Well, the bar was lower when them 5 first teamers came up. We had worse players. So if we raise the bar with bringing in those 5 first teamers last season or the season before with Ange, we've raised the bar again by bringing in 4 first teamers. It stands to reason. So again, it's not unprecedented in that the sense of it's more or less. It's unprecedented because we're getting players that are actually ready now.
100%,
2 of them were ready.
100%, and that's my argument to kill everything is that we as a club should be striving to sign at least 2 to 3 first teamers every window to go straight into the team. But because, like I said, our dealings in the past have been so poor. That is why people are looking at this window as this amazing window because we've signed 4 players who go into the 11 instead of squad padding. You see what I'm saying to you? You deal with your 11 and then you squad pad. You know
what it is? For me, Pipes, for what you just said there makes a lot of sense. And also what I would add to that is the problem is every transfer window, and I believe this for every club, Liverpool, Arsenal, City, whoever it is you want to bring into the conversation, Chelsea, Newcastle and Villa, like as more than anyone, Champions League money. The fact that we have not been in the Champions League, it affects us massively. It really does, man. I sit there and I think to myself, right, if we're going to do what Villa did, which is, they've shot themselves in the foot because now with the PSR stuff, they can't spend. Even if they want to spend, they can't. There is a balancing act of going for it and then looking 3 years ahead. Now, the fact that we're in the Champions League, this was the window to go hard because you're in the Champions League. Now, hopefully, if we finish in the Champions League positions next season and we're back there, then we can go again and do 200, spend another 30, 40, 50 mil easy because we're in the Champions League. Then we're in there for 3 years and now we're on the Arsenal, Liverpool level. Then we're not a stepping stone club anymore. We're actually a club that is in the Champions League. So for me, when I look at the next 3-4 years, this was the kickstart window. And I remember, I think I said this on here as well, when we qualified for the Champions League, I said, now we've got that 50, 60 mil more or less guaranteed. If we make it out of the January league stage and into the second half of the Champions League, that's 60 mil, 50, 60 mil, the stadium money, the sponsorship money, the revenue money, all that good stuff, the broadcast. This had to be the kickstart window. So I give it an 8 because a club matched my expectations in terms of what they spent and who they brought in. But if you're going to go last season's window, Archie Gray, and Solanke, it was a poor window. I completely agree with you. In fact, it didn't even set Ange up for the Champions League. Like last window, you looked at it and went, how's Ange going to get in the Champions League with this squad? And that's what I thought. But somehow he pulled it off. Yeah, he sold his left arm for his right arm, but he managed it. Yeah, and respect to him for whatever he did. And this is what I'm saying, guys. We've got to look with one eye on the Champions League because that is the big money now. That's the big money. We can't hide from it. There's no owners that can put money in anymore. It's changed. The game's changed.
Not only that, Josh, come January, we then have the opportunity to go again in the window. If we're still in the Champions League, we then can go in for players that can come straight into the squad, knowing we can change the Champions League squad. And if we're progressing, then he can then go and say, right, you know what? I could do with adding this, and this person. Right, let me go and see in January window, if we've got the money, let's go and buy them. Some might be cup side, some might not be, but there's potential still there. I know Ulrika said that Semenyo signed a new contract. Signing a new contract don't mean shit nowadays. Because
nothing.
if a big comes in, then that player's going.
Yeah.
And this other point that she's got here, if it's she or he, I don't know, but I'm assuming it's a she. If the worldie had gone in against Bournemouth, well, Richarlison scored a worldie. My thoughts haven't changed about him. You know what I mean? I've seen him score worldies before, and my thoughts ain't changed about him. It's not the type of goals; it's the player that I see, what he actually brings.
There's no
performance.
We can't be
his performances. I've seen Brennan Johnson score fantastic goals, but do I think he's a worldie? No chance. He's not ready for this level of football. He's not. And people can say, "Oh well, he's got the best numbers. He's got this." Look what he does off the ball. Look what he does when we need someone to step up when the going against Bournemouth. Yeah, he didn't do nothing. He didn't change anything, in my
Typical
opinion.
Not just
performance.
Bournemouth.
You
It's
know,
not just Bournemouth, Sam. It's not just Bournemouth games.
No.
It's every game he plays, he doesn't do anything.
And
We
then
just-
will till we're blue in
the
the face.
optic,
You
yeah, but
take
the
away his
optics then say,
tap-ins,
yeah,
he offers nothing. This player,
he doesn't offer
offers
anything.
absolutely nothing.
But he scored some really good goals. The goal he scored against Manchester City, one touch finish, was brilliant. The goal he scored in the first game of the season with the flick off the right boot was a fantastic finish. There's a quality finish. But if I'm going to just say, right, then what else do you do? Well, nothing else, boss. That's all I do. Oh, well, I can.
I've said it before. His only role for us going forward, we try him as a striker, but I don't see what he does off the team.
He's an impact.
He's not a winner.
He's a 25-minute player. 20-minute, 25-minute. You need a goal.
Yeah.
You want to stretch the defense. The team's coming against you. You've got space in the back. That's him. And that's the goal that he scored against Manchester City. Loads of space. City are chasing the game. Ball over the top. You run onto it and flick it in. That's him.
But guys, he's one of those players. Yeah, if you look at his touch map, there isn't much going on really. Like, he can't hold up the ball. He's not a great passer. He's just not an interlink player. He's not too involved, like you all say. Completely agree with that. Sometimes you're there, it's like, where is Brennan Johnson? He's even on the pitch. But a bit like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's one of these players which he's so Marmite in the fan base. I'd rather have him than not have him personally, because I think he's a weapon. And I think he's one of the best, if not the best in our squad at beating the offside trap. How many times has Brennan Johnson find himself offside? Not many. He beats the offside trap more often than not. I mean, he might be poor in other ways, but boy, he knows how to beat an offside trap. I'll give him that. And that's one of the hardest things to do in football.
You're not wrong. We'll play him up front.
I'll ask the question. Does anybody think Javi Simmons is going to be with us for 7 years?
Probably not.
7 years.
3 years.
He signed a 7. He signed a 7.
No, it's 5 years plus 2 years.
6
plus 2.
Is it 6?
No, it's 5 plus 2.
Yeah,
So
it's 5
effectively,
plus
that's
2.
7 years. So do you think he's going to stay for 7 years?
No.
Anybody here think that? Does anybody think he's going to stay for 5 years?
I think he'll stay till he's 27, and then he'll get his big move to Madrid or wherever he wants to go.
Does anybody think he's going to be here for 5 years?
No.
Nah.
So the contracts mean nothing. It's exactly what we've talked about. He signed a deal financially. It secures him. If you're getting 200 grand a week over 5 years minimum, that's pretty damn decent, knowing that you can get yourself out of that deal at some point. At some point, he can.
I wouldn't demonize him too much, though, Sam. I mean,
no, I wouldn't. I'm not demonizing. I'm just saying that's a fact
most footballers
in all of these deals. He's not signed a 7. Saying, "Oh, I can see a 7-year project here."
But Sam, what about a bit like when we signed Romero, Maddison, 200 grand a week? When we sign these big signings, Dembele was a failure, Tanguy was a failure. But what if we build on on this window, next window, and in 3 years we've got an amazing Simmons, and then that's the plan, right? Let's build around him.
Don't get me twisted. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying it's Spurs. We've only signed him. We've only got him because we signed. No, it's an opportunity for both parties. It's an opportunity for him, and it's an opportunity for us, for both parties in this.
But we need to take it.
But all I'm saying is that when people say, "Oh, it's Spurs," it might be, but this player here had an opportunity to go to Chelsea, who probably would have paid him more, but he might not have played as much. But we can give him a 5+2 at 200 grand and give him first team football and give him the opportunity to play.
That's why we got him.
That's why we got him. But
what's wrong with that? You play to your strengths, innit? If you know your competitor, you got to find the weakness in your competitor. That's what we did. They were signing Garnacho. Whoever picked up the phone to Simmons' agent and did the deal, locked him in till 3 a.m. I have to give respect to that. Not because, listen, you don't clap the postman delivering your post in the morning. I'm not saying, I've said this a million times. You don't applaud him. You might say thank you to him once a week, but you don't do it every day. So I can't sit and go overboard. But I have to say, they got a player that probably wasn't even looking at us earlier in the window. So
I clap my postman every single day. I clap him every single day, and then I say,
because he's got letters to deliver, bruv. You need to let him carry on with his job.
No, I clap him for delivering my letters, and then I say to him, "Stop delivering me them freaking junk ones that come with it."
And then you open the credit card statement, and you get upset. But yeah, that's life of a Tottenham fan, isn't it? But what I'm saying, guys, we call it opportunity. We call it opportunism. I call it a positive. You look, I say opportunism.
You know. My postman is Daniel Levy. My postman is Daniel Levy because in between the letters, there's a lot of junk.
Guys, it's been an hour and it's been a really good.
It
As I
has.
said, it's interesting to kind of get the views of everybody for the transfer, because we looking at it from different points, and that's a good thing. But the collective is, we can see there are different reasons why players sign for clubs. There is, I just don't want to have these rose tinted glasses on thinking, because it's Tottenham Hotspur, these players have come to us.
Oh no.
It's not, and the reason I say that is because I look at Manchester United. There's a basket case at Manchester United, really and truly. Players have gone there, and it's not because this Manchester United is fantastic. It's the greatest club in the world. They have been that, but at this moment in time, they're paying the money, and there's opportunities for people to be saying, "I play for Manchester United," and they ain't got Champions League. So the Mbeumas of this world are not playing for Champions League. They're playing because they're getting paid. They're getting paid, and yeah, there is a Man United thing to it. But if you had a choice of Man United or Manchester City at this moment in time, you're not getting to Man United, in my personal opinion. If you're looking at it from a football perspective, we don't always look at these from football perspective. It's a business at the end of the day, and that's what we have to kind of look at things from. Ulrika, what are you saying? We couldn't go earlier in market. Top players wouldn't join us after EL before Anzac, nor when we had no manager, nor when TF first arrived. But outplaying PSG and Man City makes Simmons and Wani think. Well, we signed Tell when we didn't have a manager, so I can't go with all these narratives.
Chelsea have signed loads of players with no manager, so no, I can't accept that point. Sorry.
No, I can't accept that either. But it's a good point, but it's not one that I'm willing to accept. Final thoughts, then, gentlemen. Go in reverse order this time. Starting with you, Pipes.
What are we talking on the window?
Final thoughts about everything that we talked about.
Yeah, well, basically, I mean, as we've all said, the players themselves, 4 top quality players, they go and instantly elevate our first 11. So, essentially, if you've got to be happy with that, you know what I mean? As I've said, my problem is the strategy and the planning has to be better. In terms of why players sign, again, I'm not naive about that, and I have no real issue with it. Players respect wages and trophy opportunities, so I don't have my rose tints on, thinking, they've come to Tottenham because they loved, Chick King on the high road. You know what I mean? It's about, it's business. So, yeah, hopefully the next window, we can just move a bit more strategically. That's what I asked for,
And I don't see why people are getting there's queues outside of chicken. It's just horrible chicken. It's just cheap chicken. But people are queuing out there. Queuing.
I know.
Queuing. What's the word? The West Indian, just up the road from there. It's literally a couple of doors up. The Caribbean place. That's where I go. That's where I go. They've moved now. They can move a couple more doors. That's the one. I get in there, get my rice and peas, my fried dumplings.
You're talking right by the traffic lights, ain't they?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. And to be fair, the female who works in there,
Sid, we're gonna have to go match day with these two and get some lunch with these two, man. From what they're saying, because I'm fed up of garam masala, bro. You know what I mean?
Hello. This man needs money first to show his face, so I don't know where he's getting money from for the Caribbean food.
That's where it's going, isn't it? On food, I told you, man.
Josh, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. So I got a different view, obviously. My view is Arteta, Pep, Slot have all knew their transfer targets come March, come April. You know what I mean? They didn't just wake up on transfer day one and say, let's get these players. Hence, they got their players in Kirkes and co. So I'm going to give the club benefit of doubt on this one. They got Frank. Frank wasn't even a Tottenham manager. You know what I mean? So we got him in. And there was a whole, do we keep Ange? There's a lot of volatility in the fan base, in the club. Do we keep? For 2 weeks, Levy couldn't even make his mind up, and then he did. So on the basis that Frank came in, I believe he needed time. I believe you don't back a manager without giving him the time to look at his squad, especially when he's spending 180 million or whatever it was net, 176 million. So in my opinion, it's still an 8 for me, guys. I do understand where you guys are coming from. The planning could have been better. But the fact we missed out on our A's, Morgan Gibbs, Eze, Mbeumo was rumoured, Savinho for weeks. The fact we reacted to those failures, for me, I have to look at it as a glass half full. Because the other side of the fence, we tried, we couldn't get them, and that's what it is. But the fact we got these 4 players in, and we got our majors in terms of the number 6, Muwani at the end with the striker, the fact that we replaced Madders with Simmons, and obviously Kudus I've mentioned, I still give it an 8. I still think it's a good window. And I think with Madders and Kulu coming back, those are also 2 first-team players. So that's something to look forward to. So I think we've got a good squad. Do we have a squad to get into the second phase of the Champions League? Time will tell. Is Frank a good manager? Time will tell. There's still a lot of question marks, but you'll find that a lot of these other fans for other clubs will also be complaining about how they didn't get enough business done. So I think we're up there. I'd give us third. I wouldn't say we had a better window than Liverpool and Arsenal, but I'd say we're third. And I would say, hopefully, if we stay in the Champions League, January could be a good window for us. Hopefully, we sign a good player then. Listen, it's all ups and downs, man, but I still stick to my 8. And I think in the end, we reacted well, considering the signings we didn't get over the line, the ones I've mentioned. So for me, it's still at 8, lads. And hopefully, we go and beat West Ham and get back to winning ways.
Sid.
Do you remember back in the 80s, guys, when we used to watch a program called Bullseye with Jim Bowen?
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, when you've thrown your darts and you've not got the 101 and you've lost, and he pulls that, look what you could have won, and the blinds open, the curtains open. Well, for once, I can actually say we can pull the curtains open, and when he said, look what you could have won, we can actually turn around and say, do you know what? Sod that. I've already got what I wanted in this window because we brought in 4 team players that are going to walk straight into the first team. So for once, look what you could have won is, you know what? We're not bothered. So I'm quite happy. I mean, like I said, 7.5 for me. So yeah, we move on to West Ham, and that's going to be a firework display, mate. That's going to be a very interesting game. But 4 players that can walk into the first team in a summer window. You tell that, like I said at the beginning, you tell that to any Spurs fan at the beginning of the transfer window. I'm gonna get you 4 players that are gonna walk straight into this team as starters.
I don't argue.
Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that.
The only issue, as I've said along, is the planning and strategy.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. So overall,
brilliant, tremendous.
Exactly. 4 players.
But
and then, like
then
you said,
is the planning linked to Frank sort of needing the time to plan? If you know what I mean.
I think so.
Earlier, not for me, because we've always moved that way. You see what I'm saying to you? So we can't point to Frank's appointment.
Exactly.
Really.
We've always done this.
So
yeah.
No, I hear
my
that.
final thoughts are and I'm going to use a similar analogy to Sid here. Do you remember the program called 3-2-1 where you could win?
Do you know what? I was going to use that as well, but
that's what we are.
We're showing our age here, fellas.
We've got
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I'm definitely 3, 2,
You're
1.
showing your age, man.
And you can win this big prize, but ultimately, most of the people won the bin, and this is what most of our transfer winners have been like. We've done all right, but we still get the bins. Mateus Tel, in my opinion, is the dusty bin of this transfer window. In my opinion.
What was that Bruce Forsyth one with the teddy bear? Was it Generation Game?
Generation
yeah, the teddy bear.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The thing is, Josh, with the Generation Game, we had all the players, and what happened was at the beginning of the window, Eze was on the belt. Then we had Morgan Gibbs-White on the belt, and we had other players. And then when it finished, Levy was told to name him. He went, Tell, Timo Werner, Mateus Tel.
Dusty bin.
Fellas,
That's what we got.
I hope you know Fulham is over probably 75% of the viewership.
Go
on, Sam, finish off yours.
Thanks, lads. Great conversation. I think we've done well with the window. As I said, the transfer window for me is a 7. The reason being, again, we have come up and done well with the players we've got. However, it wasn't, in my opinion, a strategic plan. This is what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. This is what we've got. It was a case of, let's try and see if we can get the essay. Let's throw a net out there. And let's throw a net out there for Morgan Gibbs. But then, okay, we've not got them. Yeah, Simmons. Chelsea? Oh, no.
Yeah,
and
but guys, didn't Bill Nick say aim for the stars and end up in the sky?
No, S Club 7 said reach for the stars.
So on the basis that we went for the stars in Morgan Gibbs, Eze Savinho, kudos we got, and we ended up with 3 other good players. Come on, guys. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe my glass is too half full and I need to lower it down.
You remember what Bob Hoskins used to say? It's good to talk.
Listen, we're playing more games this season because of the Champions League. We get one injury to a Simmons, let's say, or a Kudos. We're back to square one. You know, as much as Polino is a great signing, he's not a
That's
ball
the thing.
progressor.
There are a couple of injuries in certain positions from disaster, and that's what really
We've
forbids.
already, sorry guys, we've already had that in Madison and Kulusevski.
So I'm looking at it as being, you know, well, let's wait and see.
Right, what you're saying, though, Sam. Though.
Let's wait and see. Get to January, and these players are still playing at the top of their game for both the Premier League and the Champions League. Then I'm going to be like, okay, but we see 1 or 2 injuries, and I'm not thinking that because we're not seeing Madison this season, and we're going to see Kulusevski early part of next year. So again, it don't take a lot. 2 games a week,
guys. Now we've got the squad. Where you lot put in your position final? Where are we going to finish? Because now we've got the squad in it. Where you lot saying? What you're saying?
We haven't got the squad yet.
In one word, then, where's our
no? On what we've got. On what we've got.
In one word, Sid.
PL.
Where we finish in PL? If you had to nail your colours to the mast, as they say. 4th. Josh.
Ooh, I'm going 5th.
Pipes.
I agree with Josh. I think 5th.
Oh, I'm saying 5th as well. That's what. So 3 of us are saying 5th. Sid's being like the one who's saying, "Yeah, we're gonna."
Sid, are you giving the window 7.5 and say we're finishing 4th? What's going on, man? You do play mind games on us, man. He's playing mind games. He's got the insurance. He's got the insurance in the back pocket. It's in the post.
And I'm still going 5th.
You remember that? You remember that gift that everyone keeps putting up on our groups?
I think he's got to, if he can get Champions League qualification through the league by getting 5th, if 5th is still the option to get Champions League, I think he's done well, because I don't think we'll win a Champions League for real to get into the Champions League any other way.
I think the issue is basically the top 4 are away from everybody. But then after that, I think the league is fairly even. So that's why I think 5th is fairly realistic for us.
100%.
You know?
And if
do we sack him if we finish 7th?
No.
You got to give him 2 years. You got to give him 2 years.
Sack him if he finishes 5th.
You
can't
sack
him if he finishes 10th.
5th. Sack him if he finishes 5th.
There is.
You got to give this first season, and that's me saying that.
Yes. However, if it becomes disastrous and we finish lower half in terms of outside the top 8, and then if you compare,
I would sack him if we finish 10th, guys. I don't think that's acceptable with this squad.
But if he finished 10th and got to the semi-final of the Champions League,
seriously, Josh, you would sack him if he finished 10th.
But then isn't he just Ange in disguise then if he does that?
That's not the question. Is if you got to the semi-finals of the Champions League and finished 10th, would you still sack him? Would you?
Still sack him because the league is bread and butter. I don't care about. Yeah, I would. Nah, because Sam, we've got to finish top 5, man. Come on.
It's official.
Wow. Josh,
I would sack him. What? Because he gets to the semis and finishes 10th. Then aren't you just letting the left hand control the right hand again?
Damn.
That's a new talking point. Guys, I've got to go. I'm out, yeah?
Same. Exactly.
Okay.
So I'm going to finish the show now by saying make sure you like the stream, subscribe to the channel, comment, and make sure you do all that good stuff. And we're going to be going out with the theme music, which I found again. No, sorry, the actual TP thanks. So, gents, thank you, Sid. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Parts. Brilliant. See you later. Thank you for all the viewers as well. Bye.